everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with Scrap Your Stash Saturdays. So this page kit that I put together, it must have been one of the last ones I put together because basically all that was in there was 3 sheets of pattern papers, lots of photos. I had 8 photos and that was it. That was it. No embellishments, nothing. So I decided, well, just start with that. And then I had to the side of my desk, I had some embellishments. I believe this might be, I don't know, Maggie Holmes or Jen Hadfield. Anyway, it's in a container and I forgot to label it. So I'm not really sure which collection it's from. So anyway, I knew that I wanted to use all 8 pictures on this, but I wanted to leave some white space also around the perimeter of the whole 24. So what I started to do was trying to figure out which pictures would look the best with each. And I had no plan laid out when I put down these pictures together. But when I looked at it 3 years later, I noticed that there was 4 landscapes and 4 vertical ones. And I thought, okay, well, I can put 2 on each side and the 2 horizontal in the middle and do the same thing on side 2 of the layout. And then I can, well, you're going to see at first, I'm going to kind of put it so that there's a little white crack in the middle in between the 2 layouts. And then I was like, no, I think I'd rather stick it right to the side and make sure that it looks like one swoop of photos. So now I'm looking through the pattern papers, and to tell you the truth, I don't know which pattern papers it is. From what I can tell, it was ripped out of a paper pad. So more than likely it was bought at Michael's. And I have dozens and dozens of those paper pads, so it's good that I'm starting to use them. Now, these paper pads were double-sided, so on one side it had that nice navy color, and it's kind of worked. It's got circles within circles and flowers, and then the other side sort of had lines of flowers going vertically. But I just cut 2 little strips of maybe 1 inch each, and that's what's going to be at the top of the layout. So now I'm working on the second page. I found with having to cut that many photos, if both pages were sitting there next to me, it was too much. It was a little overwhelming. So I kind of put one to the side and I would work on the other. The only thing I had to make sure is I had to cut down the 2 center ones to not even 3 by whatever, 5.5 or whatever I decided, because where I get my pictures printed, they're not totally 6 inches. So I had to make sure that they fit with the vertical one, because the vertical one I didn't cut down. And so it was just different places, buildings that we saw on our drive through Boston. And so on the first page, you see, on Route 1, that way, north is to head to Boston, because we were south of Boston where we were camping. And then the first picture, I love that building. It has this, I don't know, rounded looking door, and it's massive. And they had the American flag there. And then just a picture of the city as we were driving in. Then that bridge, I love that bridge. It's so cool. And then just some buildings, and then the fire department. Was it the fire department? Yes, the fire department, downtown city, and then, or one of them, I'm sure there's one more than one. And then the Boston Bruins arena, and then on the way out of Boston, or maybe it was still coming in. So now, yes, this is the package. I believe that's Jen Hadfield. And so I had, this had come in a hip kit, a previous hip kit. I think it was October, maybe September. And I still had a ton, because I don't kill my kits anymore. So what I do now is I just put it in one little container, and it's by my desk. And whenever I do a layout and I don't know what embellishments I'm going to use, I just pull that out. So it works out to the same. I'm eventually gonna use them all. So this is blue, and then for just to kind of highlight it or add my second color is going to be the pink. And I really like how the two colors marry well together. So I decided to take my postal edge punch and I just punched the edges. The first one I did a horrible job. It's totally crooked because I was going backwards to where I don't know, I guess my brain works, and it was crooked, but I decided to keep it. And then it leaves a little strip, so I'm using that as an 1/8 of an inch little strip to go right at the top. And yeah, I'm having a bit of issue with my ATG gun. I think it's dying. I'm not going to throw it out. I did buy a new one. I went to Michael's and used a coupon and bought the pink one. So what I'm going to do now is just make sure that both are loaded. And what I'll do is the red one, I'll load it with my older ATG, and the pink one, I'll do it with the new one because it's nice to be able to use some of the new ATG because my old ATG tape is the cheap stuff, and it can be a pain in a tushy. And but the new one doesn't fit my gun, and I know they're supposed to be the same, but the white roll totally lays on top of the second roll there where you see where I'm turning it. It totally lays on that when it's brand new, and you can't turn it. I have to force it. And I've had my gun though for 20 years, no, for like 12 to 13 years. So maybe they've changed the model since, but yeah. So I'm going to keep both, and then I'm less likely to run out of ATG while I'm filming because I'll have at least one of them filled up, right? Hopefully. So all that to say that my ATG gun is half broken, but it still works, so I'm going to keep it. See, this is where I had left a gap, and then when I put the other one up against it, I'm like, oh, I like that a whole lot better. I rip things up. I mean, once you put it back down, you can't tell that it's been ripped up, so I don't mind ripping things up. And then I like it much better that the photos, even though in my album it's going to have the rings in between, what you can do to fix that is just glue two of the page protectors together right at the spine, and then that way it's going to fit tight together, or you can sew it, and but you can use score tape and put it in between, and that works well too if you don't have a sewing machine. So I used one of the frames that said love, and I cut it off about 2/3 up, and then the other third I put at the top left of the layout. So to do my layering or my clustering, I did put the two pages together because this has to be looked at as a whole page. And so now I'm saying, okay, I knew I wanted to use that frame for a cluster, and I'm going to do my journaling in there. And so that's one cluster. And then I just start looking at the embellishments that I took out, and I start dividing it in between the three clusters. And then once I'm ready to marry to it and decide that, yes, that's what I want, then I start gluing everything down. Once everything, the first layer, I guess, is done, then I say, okay, I have a square shape here, a square shape here, and one at the bottom. I have the frame, and then it's pink, and I didn't have any frame left over, so then I just used the banner. Kind of looks like the pink of that, and then the title is in blue, so then I put a little blue tag too at the bottom that says good times. And then for the other one, it's a different tone of blue, but I use the two little hearts, the felt hearts, and I just staple them together. And then I'm going to glue them down to the layout. And then after that, I just wrote my journaling. I'm also adding glue, so it's going to be glued and stapled down to the layout. And that's pretty much going to be it. I'm going to add some enamel dots in a dark blue and some white enamel dots from Doodlebug. And this layout took me under an hour. I think it took me 46 minutes to complete. So it was fairly quick. And like I said, this page kit was put together 3 years ago, and it was good to get these put together and now into an album. Now, my goal this year is to journal all my pages right away. And I've always put a title, so I'm okay that way. For me, it was journaling and putting a date. Oh my goodness. When I'm doing the page, I know when it was. But when I look at it 6 months later, I'm like, I don't know when that was. So I need to start stamping the date. And I noticed that I didn't do it for this. So what I'm going to do is, as soon as I'm done the voiceover, I'm going to take my little stamp and I'm going to put the year. And that was, what year were we last year? 15? I think that was 2014. I'll have to go check and look. But yeah, it was the year that my daughter came with us. So I think it was the year before, 2014. And oh yes, I took those Doodlebug Tinsy type stickers, and I got those at Scrapbook Generation. It's an online store, and they have a ton of stuff. And I love these Doodlebug stickers. I found them on eBay, but the shipping was ridiculous. So this way, they have reward points that you can use too. So it seems that after the first time, I always have enough reward points to pay for my shipping, and I'm good with that. And so to Canada, the shipping is $12.99, which is still not bad. And I wrote Boston City, so it said Love Boston City. And that's it. That's going to complete this layout. And thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for watching. Bye.